All right, it is the behind-the-scenes look here at the weather model discussion for Sunday, November the 6th. How's it going, everyone? William Cole here in the Storm Studio. Again, on the weekend, hopefully your weekend is going well. I tell you what, we're making a small change to the way we're doing this. This will still be available on our social media, right? This is kind of our behind-the-scenes content, behind-the-scenes look at how we're putting together the daily forecast. We never put this on our normal channel, right? But what we're going to start doing is for our Patreons, who we really appreciate, the folks, again, $2.99 per month who have signed up on our Patreon page. We're putting it on Patreon first, letting them, again, kind of get the behind-the-scenes look, and then later in the day, we'll schedule this to put it on social media. But again, if you are watching it on social media, again, take a look at our Patreon page. It may be something you want to sign up for. Like I mentioned, it's $2.99 per month. Help support this, our mobile app, and, of course, our channel as well. So again, just a bit of a change we're starting this week. But without further ado, we've got a lot to talk about because I tell you what, after the severe weather outbreak on Friday, right, not a good deal on Friday, we've been enjoying good weather through the weekend, no complaints there. In fact, for tomorrow, Monday, there's going to be some showers around, so maybe a few complaints with that. But we've got some pretty decent weather this week. But then I tell you what, folks, we are going to go from temperatures at or above normal to well below normal. In fact, we've got two cold fronts, and we may even have three cold fronts that, honestly, the way it looks right now, a good part of our November, it's going to be turning chillier. And for North Texas, we're truly talking about chillier. So let's go and get to those details here over the next few minutes. So number one, there it is, just a shot of downtown Dallas, cam centered up there. That's Reunion Tower, and obviously the Omni there in the background. And again, you're seeing the crystal blue Texas sky. Again, nothing going on today, everything relatively quiet. I want to show the surface map, a look around the nation here. You can see the blue line that's currently cutting through Oklahoma. We will have a cold front later today, tonight, move into the area. There's not much in the way of colder air with that, or even cooler air. It will truly be a touch cooler up in the Red River overnight. This is not a big deal. It truly stalls out in our area. And the bigger deal with this, there's going to be moisture that pools near the front. So south of the front, the clouds will be increasing. There'll be some showers and drizzle that develops. And then as that lifts north tomorrow with an approaching storm system tomorrow, it looks great for most of the day, and again, some scattered showers around. The precip is going to be relatively light. Not everyone's even necessarily going to see it, but again, tomorrow kind of looks more like a raw day. And again, then like I mentioned, as we go through the week, we clear that out. We do begin to warm back up all before some bigger weather changes arrive by late week. So 81 right now at DFW. We're doing this right around 3:40, so that would be the 3 o'clock reading. We would still have time to maybe even hit an 82 or 83, not impossible. So again, temperatures today well above normal. Just go and call it for this time of year pretty warm. You can see the 70s and 60s back up in Oklahoma and Kansas. Again, that's that weak frontal boundary that'll be coming through. Again, like I mentioned, stalling very close to the Interstate 20 corridor overnight. Down along the Rio Grande Valley today, though, you can call it hot. Laredo, currently 90 degrees. Let's go and take a look here in North Texas. And again, you can see a lot of 70s, a lot of 80s. We'll call it warm, but again, by and large, with the sun out there, really today's been a pretty nice day. So hopefully you've been able to get out and again, enjoy it as well. Right now, we still have a southerly and a southwesterly wind. The southwesterly wind has really been key to the temperature today bouncing. Keep in mind, a southwesterly wind, it's a warming wind any time of year. If you have a southwesterly wind, you can typically plan on temperatures being at or above normal, right? 9 times out of 10, there's always a few exceptions to that, but generally speaking, those are your warmer afternoons. And again, you can see the wind vectors, the wind arrows coming in from the southwest. And again, that was one of the keys to that, again, warm afternoon out there. Looking at the visible satellite review, so this is where we're switching from the normal maps. Now we're switching over to the raw data, right? And really through the rest of this, we'll be looking at the raw data. Again, you can see generally clear in North Texas. A few thunderstorms bubbling up down along the coastal plains, down around the Houston area. But again, outside of that, by and large, the southern plains, even most of the desert southwest, simply put, nothing really going on. If you look out in parts of New Mexico, even parts of Colorado, the patches of white that aren't moving, that's actually snow that's on the ground. A lot of those locations, including the Colorado Rockies, they've had a generous helping of early season snow. And again, a lot of the ski parks out there are again in business, and they're ready to be in business now as the season really does begin to kick off. Okay, so let's go and talk about the upper air chart here. Of course, this is always the meat and potatoes look at the forecast that truly tells us what's going on. We're looking for dips that are active weather. We're looking for ridges, which are calmer weather. And as it turns out, we really have one. So let me go and show you what I'm talking about here. You have to look all the way up into parts of Canada and truly the northern tier. You can see that dip, upper level storm system cutting through that part of the nation. Believe it or not, the front that's coming into North Texas tonight and kind of stalling out, if you will, it's in response to that system, right? As that system continues to pull off to the east, the wraparound, right, at the surface, the northerly winds that wrap around counterclockwise, that's what's pushing that boundary down into our area. But again, the fact that it's so far to the north, that's why it's kind of fizzling, if you will. There's not much cooler air left with it. Again, it's more so almost a surface boundary that again is just kind of wobbling on into the area. But it will kind of act as a wall, if you will, to kind of again hold a lot of that Gulf of Mexico moisture to the south of it. And then as it does lift to the north, it'll be pooling and mixing into our area. And one of the reasons why, at least tomorrow morning, we start off pretty gray with even a little fog and drizzle around. And then if you really look carefully here, in fact, what I'll do, I'll show you on the model data coming up. There's one more little storm system that's going to be coming out, and again, just because of some broad weak lift with it, it's going to give us an opportunity of some showers tomorrow. Otherwise, the overall pattern, when it's coming in just from west to east, the jet stream is literally moving from west to east. We call this zonal, and a lot of times it can be kind of a quieter pattern, right? We're typically looking for stuff coming in out of the northwest or the north, or at times even up out of the southwest. Typically when it's just straight zonal, at times it can be just a touch of a quieter pattern. And again, as we get into this upcoming week, the pattern will change some, but generally speaking, that's what we're looking for. I want to show the water vapor. We always love to take a look at this as well. And again, you can see that little curly Q right up here on the northern tier. You can see the area spin, literally, again, within the water vapor. See that? And again, the yellow you're seeing there, that's the dry air wrapping into it. So it's a compact area spin. Of course, that's moving through. Then again, literally in the water vapor, you can also see the jet stream cutting across west to east. So everything we just talked about there on the chart, even in the water vapor, again, you can see everything moving essentially within that general flow, okay? Like I mentioned, other than some of the showery activity tomorrow, at least through the end of this work week, it's pretty quiet. I mean, truly, there's really just not a lot going on. Looking at the convective outlook, again, through the day today, there may be an active weather. Again, like I mentioned, kind of in the deep southeast of Texas and also parts of Florida, maybe some active weather there. Again, tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center, I'm only showing this because I wanted to address that. There may be a rumble or two of thunder. We're not anticipating severe weather. The light green on this anyway is not for severe weather. It's meaning general thunderstorm activity, right? So a general thunderstorm, a couple claps of thunder, what we call an elevated thunderstorm, not impossible, but again, by and large tomorrow, it's mainly going to be showery type stuff. And again, by and large, it's going to be relatively light as we go through tomorrow as well. Rainfall totals are going to be pretty nil, right? Again, maybe a few locations picking up a couple tenths. I mean, at the very most, we'll take what we can get, but this is not going to be much in the way of a beneficial rain for us whatsoever. And again, there's your day 3 outlook. From there, let's go and switch over to the model data because we've really got a lot to go over, right, as we go through really the next 10 days and even beyond. So number one, again, we're looking at the upper air chart. Let me go and change the zoom here. We'll zoom in closer. I use this zoom just for the model data here. So again, as we go forward in time, again, you can see this little short wave beginning to pull out. And again, like I mentioned, this will be slowly but surely as we go through tomorrow. Again, that's going to give us that weak opportunity of a few showers around. Again, truly, tomorrow, other than it just kind of being damp and just kind of being just kind of a raw day, outside of that is not truly going to be an active weather day, right? Just kind of some inconveniences just because of the moisture around, again, even a little bit of fog for the morning commute. You can see as we look off to the west, the big deep storm trough, you can even see the colors, the vorticity associated with that. That's what's going to be coming out as we get deeper into the week. Now, that's also going to have a boundary with it, but it's going to be pretty well starved for moisture. So this upcoming Thursday and a Friday, there's going to be a very low end opportunity of maybe a shower near that stronger front that's coming in. But right now, I wouldn't hold my breath. I'll show you that coming up momentarily. So we've got one storm coming out. This is going to bring us to chillier weather. I'll illustrate that coming up. But then look behind it, we've got another one. You saw that other storm system, even though it kind of elongates and gets stretched out. In fact, we've got 2 more storm systems that are on the way as well. And again, by about day 8, 9, and 10, as that final storm system moves through, and hopefully you're able to follow along when I say storm system, this is what I'm talking about. It's this thing right here. Right? So as you look at that, you see that little area of vorticity, right? That area of color. As that comes through, the data has been back and forth. That may be a chilly rain for us, but just to the north of the Red River, some of the data has even been suggesting there may be even some snow up in Oklahoma. So there may even be some snow in the neighborhood with that final storm system, only for the fact temperatures are really going to chill down, like I mentioned, by this upcoming weekend. So with all of that in mind, now let's go and look at, again, air mass change. Now we're looking for cold fronts, right? So we know through most of this week, and you can see it. I mean, if you look carefully here, just in the near term, you can see that little front. See it up at Oklahoma, the greens up there. You can see it tries to kind of wobble into our area. It kind of stalls out. The European model here, the global model, really not even as bullish, pushing it even into North Texas. Again, for us, that front, it's just not a big deal, right? It's more of a surface boundary, right? But as we go forward in time, this is where the forecast gets interesting. Temperatures jump this week. We're back in the upper 70s and 80s. I mean, we're warm, right, for this time of year. But here comes that next storm system. And take a look at that front developing up there, and look at that cold Canadian air that gets displaced and begins to come out into the plains. Look at the northern plains. That's downright cold. But follow that front, cutting through Oklahoma. There it is, making it into North Texas by early Friday. And again, that's going to be the beginning of some chillier air. And you can even see some of the light blues. And we'll put real numbers with this. This is only illustrating it. I'm going to show you temperatures coming up. But again, you can even see some of those light blues making their way down in Oklahoma. And again, it's not just in and out. Look at most of the nation. It's inundated with Canadian air. Not that it's completely unprecedented for this time of year, but it's a little early. I mean, it's a little early to start seeing that. Okay, so we know about front number 1. Here comes that next storm system, and what does it do? It basically taps right back into it, and here you see that coming out, again, kind of advecting down. You can see here comes another piece of Canadian air right down into the area. That's day 10 where we're ending, so essentially from this upcoming weekend all the way out through day 10, but then even extended another 11, 12, maybe even 13 days down the road, we've got chilly air in the area. And so simply put, we're talking about highs like in the 50s. We may have some overnight lows in the Metroplex that begin to approach the upper 30s. So we're talking about temperatures well below normal, and not just a one-day wonder, right? We're talking about it could be a week or more, and we could even begin to kind of get stuck in that pattern. Sometimes early season patterns, you kind of get stuck in them. Just like in the summer, right? We got stuck in that early season pattern where it was just hot and we couldn't break out of it. Sometimes even in the fall, you can get stuck kind of in an early season pattern until the jet stream really begins to energize a little later in the season. So not impossible that we even get stuck in a pattern similar to this, and our temperatures, we went from ultra hot all summer to now, as we head into fall, temperatures well below normal for where we should be. So again, the forecast looks pretty interesting. Let me go and show you the precip here. And again, like I mentioned, for tomorrow, I'll show you the high-res data. Again, this is still the Euro, the global model. Showers around tomorrow, right? Again, other than the fact the roadways are going to be wet to damp in the Metroplex, there'll be some traffic slowdown, just stuff like that. Nothing severe, nothing crazy, not even much in the way of the rain gauge, right? So here comes that first front on late Thursday and a Friday. You can see up in Oklahoma, could be some storms there. North Texas, you can see it's basically a swing and a miss, right? There's just not a lot of moisture for that front to work with. I've still got a 20% probability on my 12-day as a placeholder, right? There could be some rain and storms in the area, so it's not impossible that the data evolves on that, and maybe it becomes a little more likely, but right now it's a placeholder, and 20% basically means, probably not, right? Okay. So that one comes through, but we turn chillier. We turn sharply chillier with that first front. Okay, so let's go forward in time. Here comes that next system. Again, a bit of a swing and a miss for us, but here comes that third system right on its tail. And again, this one will give us some chilly rain in the area, right? We're not even talking about storms with this. We're talking about chilly rain. And again, the latest data keeping at least the snow potential to our north, right? Some of the data yesterday where you're seeing just the light greens up in Oklahoma, some of the light precip up there, it was actually turning it chillier enough up there overnight that maybe there was even some snow up there. So we need to watch that trend because we're definitely going to be chillier, and again, especially through the overnight periods. Not so much worried about North Texas snow, not to get your hopes up, but again, pretty close to our area. Again, not too impossible, right? So we'll be watching that as well. Let's go and put some numbers with this because this is truly the important part of this, right? And this is what we really want to get to. Let me go and switch this back around. And again, this is the very latest run. So again, tomorrow 78, again, cloudy, some showers around. We know about that. And then we're basically at 80. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're at 80. I mean, we're just coasting through. We're thinking we're enjoying fine fall weather. Temperatures are above where they should be. We're sunny. We're loving life. But then as we get into Friday, here comes that front. And then, I mean, the bottom falls out. I mean, we've got daytime highs in the mid to lower 50s and overnight lows right down around 40. There's a little data even in the Metroplex that tries to put us into the upper 30s. So we're not necessarily talking about freezing temperatures here in the Metroplex yet, but even in some of our northern counties, there's already been some patchy light freezing temperatures up along the Red River and such. But even some of those locations may be going to flirt with that again. And again, you can see it may be kind of that prolonged because even by day 9 and 10, remember we have that next push of chillier air coming down. It's at least going to linger for a couple of days. That's essentially where the data ends, but we know at least it's going to linger for a couple of days. So we're talking about this upcoming weekend on high temperatures in the 50s, potentially even into the following weekend. So that would be at least about 7 days. And again, even though the data stops there, it's not impossible that again we kind of get locked into that cyclic pattern, and maybe we even have some more chillier air with that as well. So if you like the cooler temperatures, I know a lot of folks do. Again, it's not necessarily a cold blast. This is a crazy cold, but this is definitely jeans and hoodie weather. I mean, I'm wearing shorts today, so we're going to be going from shorts over the next couple of days to, again, jeans and hoodie or whatever it is you wear type weather. So that's where we are, folks. Like I mentioned, we wanted to do one of these. Again, we're putting this on our Patreon page now first. We'll let the folks there, again, kind of get this background look. And then, like I mentioned, we'll just schedule it for later in the day on our social media, and we'll let it pop up there as well. And again, I mean, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, no big deal, obviously. I mean, our channel's presented to everyone. But again, if you would like to be, feel free to sign up. Again, it's an easy way to, number one, support this behind-the-scenes weather deal that we do, but also it supports our normal live channel, supports our mobile app, all of those kind of things. And again, like I mentioned, you can do it for as little as just $2.99 per month. So check that out. And then also don't forget, if you have not downloaded our mobile app, be sure to do that as well. Again, it is a free download on the Apple iTunes Store and also the Google Play Store. Make sure you, your family, your friends, everyone has it, again, on their phone or even on their smart device as well. So otherwise, folks, of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow. I'll be on the air with you tomorrow, and we'll also do another one of these tomorrow right around 3:30 as well. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and again, we'll talk to you tomorrow.